is such an honor to meet you. My name is Dr. Jennifer, and I will be your tutor. Let me tell you a little bit about myself, okay? So, my name is Dr. Jennifer. I went to Dale University. No, not Yale. What's Yale? Anyways, no. I graduated from Dale University, and I studied history. And then after, let's say, about 8 years, I got my PhD, which stands for Physics, History, and Division. And I got this job. So I understand that you have to study for your GED. Yes, and did you drop out of high school, or could you tell me a little more about that? Well, there's no judgment here. You know, some people have to drop out for whatever reason, and sometimes it's to take care of a parent. Sometimes you have to kind of become more independent and you have to quit in order to get a job. And there's just all sorts of reasons why somebody would drop out besides getting married or joining the army or having a kid. But it's okay, there's no judgment here. Luckily, you hired me because I can help you out on all sorts of these things. This should be a breeze. So, I brought you with no extra expense. I got you this notebook, this pencil, and an eraser because this pencil does not come with an eraser. I'm going to just hand this to you. And I brought a GED study guide. This is from Test Prep Books. And this is the 6th edition preparation. Now, this is the 2021 version, but education, I don't understand why it would change every few years, so this should be okay. So, this is included in your study guide. Success strategies. Follow these success strategies to help you select the right answers and to be at your best on test day. Comprehensive review. Each selection of the test has a comprehensive review that goes into detail to cover all of the content likely to appear on the test. Practice questions. We want to give you the best practice you can find. That's why the Test Prep Books practice questions are as close as you can get to the actual test. Answer explanations. Every single problem is followed by an answer explanation. We know it's frustrating to miss a question and not understand why. The answer explanations will help you learn from your mistakes. That way you can avoid missing it again in the future. Okay, so go ahead and turn your notebook to the first page. Okay, so they also, Test Prep Books, also, they're in partnership with Mometrix Test Preparation, which are like some of the best textbooks that you can buy. And here's what the first page looks like. So I'm going to kind of read this to you. We have all night, you know, like my fiance is coming to pick me up, so we have all night if we have to. So he don't mind. He's a CDL truck driver. Okay, so dear customer, we consider it an honor and a privilege that you chose our GED study guide. As a way of showing our appreciation, people need to get better cars. And to help us better serve you, we have partnered with Mometrix Test Preparation to offer 50% of their online GED prep course. Many GED courses are needlessly expensive and don't deliver enough value. With their course, you can get access to the best GED prep material and you only pay half price. Momentrix has structured their online course to perfectly complement your printed study guide. The GED prep course contains over 140 lessons that cover all the most important topics, 180 plus video reviews that explain difficult concepts, over 700 practice questions to ensure you feel prepared, and digital flashcards so you can fit some studying in while you're on the go. The topics that are covered in the GED goes by mathematical reasoning, reason through language arts, science, and social studies. So in the language arts, we are going to be talking about reading comprehension, critical thinking, and writing. For math, it includes number operations, algebra functions and patterns, and geometry. In science, we have physical science and earth and space science. And for social studies, we have economics and history and government. So you saying that you need help with math. Okay. Is it just math or anything else you need help with? Like, what about science or social studies? I mean, like I said, I majored in history, so I can totally help you with that. No, just math and just math? Come on, there's got to be something. I mean, for somebody that dropped out of high school, there must be something else that you need to learn, like extra. I mean, you hired me, so there must be something else that you need help with, right? I don't think you sound too sure, so I'm going to help you with critical thinking, and I'm going to help you with that algebra and geometry. That's what we'll focus on today. So, we are going to, let's see, okay, I'm going to help you with language arts. So, that is going to be on page 101. Okay, so the first chapter says reasoning through language arts, and we're going to study reading for meaning. In other words, events, plots, characters, settings, and ideals. One of the most crucial skills for conquering the GED's reasoning through language arts questions is the ability to recognize the sequences of events for each passage and place them in the correct order. Every passage has a plot, whether it is from a short story, a manual, a newspaper article or editorial, or a history text, which is my forte. And each plot has a logical order, which is also known as a sequence. Some of the most straightforward sequences can be found in technology directions, science experiments, instructional materials, and recipes. These forms of writing list actions that must occur in a proper sentence in order to get sufficient results. Other forms of writing, however, use styles and ideals in a way that completely change the sequence of events. Poetry, for example, may introduce repetitions that make the events seem cyclical. Postmodern writers are famous for experimenting with different concepts of place and time, creating cut scenes that distort straightforward sequences and abruptly transport the audience to different contexts or times. Even everyday newspaper articles, editorials, and historical sources may experiment with different sequential forms of stylistic effect. Okay, so I'm going to skip most of this because this is stuff you already know. I mean, if you don't know that, then you really need to go back to elementary school. Okay. And never mind, we actually gotta, okay. Making inferences, predictions. Some texts use suspense and foreshadowing to captivate readers. For example, an intriguing aspect of murder mysteries is that the reader is never sure of the culprit until the author reveals the individual's identity. Authors often build suspense and add depth and meaning to a work by leaving clues to provide hints or predict future events in the story, and this is called foreshadowing. While some instances of foreshadowing are subtle, others are quite obvious. Inferences. Another way to read actively is to identify examples of interference within text. Making an inference requires the reader to read between the lines and look for what is implied rather than what is directly stated. That is, using information that is known from the text, the reader is able to make a logical assumption about information that is not directly stated, but it's probably true. Authors employ literary devices such as tone, characterization, and theme to engage the audience by showing details of the story instead of merely just telling them. For example, if an author said, "Bob is selfish, there's little left to infer." If the author said, "Bob cheated on his test, ignored his mom's calls, and parked illegally," the reader can infer Bob is selfish. He is a prick. It didn't say prick in the book, but you know, we all know what he is. Authors also make implications through character dialogue, thoughts, effects on others, actions, and looks. Like in life, readers must assemble all the clues to form a complete picture. So where this is going, this is actually like a competency test. So I don't know if you know this, but if you make under 145 on this test, you not only fail the test, but you failed at life and competency in general. Like your IQ is below average. So try your best to just pay attention to this. Okay, so it says here, read the following passage. "Hey, do you want to meet my new puppy?" Jonathan asked. "Oh, I'm sorry, but please don't." Jacinta began to protest, but before she could finish, Jonathan had already opened the passenger side door of his car, and a perfect white ball of fur came bouncing towards Jacinta. "Isn't he the cutest?" beamed Jonathan. "Yes, he's pretty," Jacinta managed to say in between sneezes, "but if you don't mind, need to go outside." Which of the following can be inferred from Jacinta's reaction to the puppy? So, A, she hates animals. B, she is allergic to dogs. C, she prefers cats to dogs. Or D, she is angry at Jonathan. Okay, so let's go back to what it says. So Jonathan is like, "Hey, you want to meet my new puppy?" And he's all happy. And she's just like, she's protesting because remember it says Jacinta began to protest, which obviously means that she does not like, she doesn't support puppies at all. And she's sneezing a lot, but that's how she is. So let's see. So it doesn't seem that she's angry with Jonathan because she doesn't lash out at him. She doesn't push him around or come off as mean. She's just saying, I need to simply go inside. So we can scratch off D. She is angry at Jonathan. She is not angry at Jonathan. Let's look at C. She prefers cats to dogs. Or cats over dogs. See, they're messing up their words, but just why you have me, which is a good thing. Because this is 2021. People ain't as smart in 2021 as they are now. Okay, so it doesn't mention cats in the passage at all, so we can just go ahead and scratch that off. Which leaves us with A or B. She either hates animals or she is allergic to dogs. Okay, so let's see. So I think the way she says it, like achoo, adora, achoo, that is, and then it's a achoo, that is obviously a southern accent, so we can scratch B off. She's allergic to dogs, which only leaves A. She hates animals, dogs specifically, which explains because remember the part where she began to protest. So everybody in their right mind knows, especially in 2020, if you protest something, you clearly hate whatever it is you're protesting. So she protests him letting the dog out of her vehicle. So it would be A, she hates animals, dogs specifically. Making inferences is crucial for leaders of literature because literary texts often avoid presenting complete and direct information to readers about characters through the characters' thoughts or feelings, or they present this information in an unclear way, leaving it up to the reader to interpret clues given in the text. In order to make inferences while reading, readers should ask themselves these 4 things. 1. What details are being presented in the text? 2. Is there any important information that seems to be missing? 3. Based on the information that the author does include, what else is probably true? Or 4. Is this inference reasonable based on what is already known? So let's see if I can't find another one for you before we move on to something else. Okay, so I really can't find nothing else. Like I said, most of this is like a competency training, and I'm not really here to be a therapist or anything. I'm just, yeah, we'll just skip all that. We'll worry about that later. Let's just move on to math. I know that you need to learn about math, so we'll find out what page that's on, and then we'll take a practice test in a minute. Okay, we will start you off with basic algebra, which is page 56. I got an itch in my nose. Sorry about that. Okay, 56. Basic algebra. And this is what we're going to start off with. Adding, subtracting, multiplying, and factoring linear expressions. Algebraic expressions look similar to equations, but they do not include the equal sign. Algebraic expressions are comprised of numbers, variables, and mathematical operations. Some examples of algebraic expressions are 8x plus 7y minus 12z, 3a2, 5x3 minus 4y, 4. Algebraic expressions consist of variables, numbers, and operations. A term of an expression is any combination of numbers and/or variables in terms that are separated by addition and subtraction. For example, the expression, sorry about this, I gotta do it, it's getting on my nerves. For example, the expression 5x2 minus 3xy plus 4y minus 2 consists of 4 terms: 5x2 minus 3xy, 4y, and minus 2. Note that each term includes its given sign, minus or plus. The variable part of a term is a letter that represents an unknown quantity. The coefficient of a term is the number by which the variable is multiplied. So let's go ahead and kind of do that. For the term for y, the variable is y and the coefficient is 4. Terms are identified by the power or exponent of its variable. A number without a variable is referred to as a constant. We'll underline that. If the variable is to the first power, which is x1 or simply x, it is referred to as a linear term. A term with a variable to the second power, x2, is quadratic, and a term to the third power, x3, is cubic. Consider the expression x3 plus 3x minus 1. The constant is minus 1, the linear term is 3x, there is no quadratic term, and the cubic term is x3. Okay, so those are the basics. Now I will go ahead and read half of this. Adding and subtracting linear algebraic expressions. An algebraic expression is simplified by combining like terms. A term is a number, variable, or product of a number and variables separated by addition and subtraction. For the algebraic expression 3x2 minus 4x plus 5 minus 5x2 plus x minus 3, the terms are 3x2 minus 4x, 5 minus 5x2, x, and minus 3. Like terms have the same variables raised to the same powers, exponents. The like terms for the previous example are 3x2 and minus 5x2, minus 4x and x, 5 and minus 3. To combine like terms, the coefficients are added, and the variables and their powers are kept the same. Note that if a coefficient is not written, it is implied coefficient of 1, x equals 1x. The previous example will simplify to minus 2x2 minus 3x plus 2. Okay, so now we are going to, hopefully you understood all that because we're fixing to start testing you on what we just read. But before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and teach you a little bit about geometry, and we'll come back for another tutoring session next week. Let me just look for geometry. I'm starting to get a rash on my face. Where is the geometry? Okay. Geometry. Side lengths of shapes when given the area or perimeter. The perimeter of a polygon is the distance around the outside of a two-dimensional figure, or the sum of the lengths of all the sides. Perimeter is a one-dimensional measurement and is therefore expressed in the linear units such as centimeters, feet, and miles. The perimeter of a figure can be calculated by adding together each of the sides. Properties of certain polygons allow that the perimeter may be obtained by using formulas. A regular polygon is one in which all sides have equal length and all interior angles have equal measures, such as a square and an equilateral triangle. To find the perimeter of a regular polygon, the length of one side is multiplied by the number of sides. A rectangle consists of two sides called the length, which have equal measures, and two sides called the width, which have equal measures. Therefore, the perimeter of a rectangle can be expressed as P equals L plus W plus W, which means perimeter equals length plus width. This can be simplified to produce the following formula to find the perimeter of a rectangle. P equals 2L plus 2W, or P equals 2L plus W in parentheses, or whatever you call those things. You know, they're like the home things. Okay. Consider the following problem. The total perimeter of a rectangular garden is 36 m, which means meters. If the length of each side is 12 meters, what is the width? The formula of the perimeter of a rectangle is P equals 2L plus 2W, where P is the perimeter, L is the length, and W is the width. The first step is to substitute all of the data into the formula, which would be 36 equals 2 parentheses 12 plus 2W. Simplify by multiplying 2 by 12. So 36 equals 24 plus 2W. Simplify this further by subtracting 24 on each side, which gives 36 minus 24 equals 24 minus 24 plus 2W. 12 equals 2W. Then you're going to divide that by 2, which gives 6 equals W. The width is 6 meters. Remember to test this answer by substituting this value into the original formula. So I'm going to show you how it's done. I hope you can see that. You can probably see better than I can. I'm blind. I did not bring my glasses with me. Oh, I read good? Thank you. Okay, so enough with all of that. We can read more about that next week. But right now, we are going to start testing your knowledge on today's session. And by testing, I'm going to help you do this. And these are no calculator questions, so if you do have a calculator, I don't know why, because I did not give you one, you cannot use it. Okay, let me find the ones about algebra. Hang on. Okay, so it turns out I was actually on the answer key, so that's why I wasn't finding anything. Okay. 2, 2, 1. Okay, so we're definitely going to get to that next week. This is basically like read a passage and then tell us about who feels what and this and that, and we'll worry about that later. Man, I got something in my nose today. Yeah, we'll worry about that later. This is just too much. I don't like reading. I help you with this math because I actually studied physics and I was pretty good at it. I was number 8 in my class, and there was like 12 people in there, so I was good. Okay. This is good. Okay. So I'm going to get up because I want to help you with this. Okay. So the first question is 3 over 25 equals what? Okay, so you got A 0.15, B 0.1, C 0.9, or D 0.12. Okay, so we're going to do 3 divided by 25. 3 goes into 2, none. 3 can go into 25. Hang on, not 10, not 9, 8. Okay, so 8 times 3 is 24, which leaves 1. Okay, so the answer is B, 0.1, because that is the closest to what we just did. I'll show you my answer. What is the value of the following expression 8.2 plus 6.2? It's either going to be A, 14, B, 10, C, 9, or D, 100. Okay, so let's see. So we're just going to ignore them 2's for right now. 6 plus 8, let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so 6 plus 8 equals 14. And, okay, so let's say we added those 2's together. Those would be 4. So let's try 14 times 4. So 4 times 4 is 16. Carry the 1. 4 times 1 is 4. Plus 1 is 5. That would be 56. So we're going to say it's not. Let's don't do nothing with those 2's right now. And let's see. Okay, so it's not 10. I definitely know it's not 10. And it can't be 9. So it's either going to be 14 or 100. Okay, so this one's a little bit tricky. Okay, so we're just going to say it's 14 and just forget about the A's. I'm going to show you my answer. Okay. 864 divided by 36 is what? A, 24, B, 25, C, 34, or D, 18. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to write 36 divided by 8, 6, 4. Okay, so let's see. 36 times... Let's just go big and say 36 times 20. Okay, so obviously anything times 0 is going to be 0. So 6 times 2 is 12. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1, 7. So that's going to be 720. So we'll just write 20 down. Okay, so 36. 36 will go into 864 20 times. So we're going to write down 720. Okay, 4 minus 0 is 4. 6 minus 2 is 4. 8 minus 7 is 1. Okay, so let's see. How many times will 36 go into 144? Okay, so 36 times, let's see. We'll do 4. So 6 times 4. That's a hard one. I was not good at my sixes. And 6 times 4. So 6 times 3 is 18. So 24? I think it's 24. 4 times 3 is 12 plus 1, 13, 14. Okay, so we'll put 30. No. We'll put 4 up here. So 36 will go into 144 4 times. So 144, which equals 0. So it says that the answer is 204. So let's simplify 204. So there is a cheat method you could do. So let's see. 204 divided by Okay, so this one's a hard one. So, you know what, I'm going to take a quick guess and say it's 24. I mean, I got 204, so we're just going to say it's 24. So, you can try to figure that one out on your own. This is what I got so far. I hope you ain't too mad. Only got 12 hours of sleep last night as opposed to 13 hours. So let's try to find one more before I go home tonight. Okay, let's do a geometry question. And this will be the last question for tonight. And then afterwards I can call my fiance to come pick me up. And then you can, read up on it. I'll actually let you keep the book because I only spent like $5 on it. So you can keep it. Okay, an equilateral triangle has a perimeter of 18 feet. If a square whose sides have the same length as one side of the triangle is built, what will be the area of the square? Okay, so I'm definitely going to have to stand up for this one too. Okay, so the perimeter is 18 feet. So P would equal 18 L plus width. So, and it's a triangle, so the middle is 18. So I know that 6 times 3 is 18. I think 18 times 2 is 36. It might be. Hang on. 18 times 2, 8 times 2 is... Yeah, 18 times 2 is 36. So... Well, I don't know. It could be 6 because the triangle has 3 sides. But wait a minute. If a square whose sides have the same length as one side, so length So it's not going to be C or D. And my fiance is texting me like crazy. I might have to go check that out in a minute. They're texting me like crazy. I know he's like in a rush to bring me home. I don't know why. Okay, so 18 times 2 is 36. I think 6 times 6 is 36. So 6 times 6 is 36. Which 6 probably won't be it. Okay, so I'm gonna say it's 36 as a wild guess. Okay, so we're just gonna end things for right now because I could tell you're confused. I'm confused myself. My fiance is beeping the horn like crazy. I don't know if you can hear him, but I gotta get going. So I'm gonna leave this pencil with you and that notebook. You just study that whenever you feel like it, and I will be back next week and we'll learn more about that. We'll take some more practice tests and we'll just get, we'll get into the swing of things. But anyways, I hope that you have a great rest of your week and an even better weekend. Thank you so much for hiring me to be your tutor.